Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing well today. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about bows. And my sort of testing with them in a couple of GvG's, a load of Hellgates, things like that. Just my testing with them ever since the Lancelot update. Just got some random footage in the background of a GvG I did today. Actually had a really one-sided GvG to start off with. They came back and actually beat us the second time around. Very convincingly. So really good fights from these guys. But yeah, so let's talk about bows. You've got a couple of different bows, in my opinion, at the moment that are potentially viable. Namely being the Whispering Bow, the Wailing Bow, and the regular bow. So let's talk about each one individually. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Whispering one, and this is the Whispering Bow, and this is the one I've spent the most time testing, the most time trying to make work. And I honestly think it has a place right now. I think it's a strong weapon. It has very, very good poke potential. Honestly, I think it has to be played cloth just to give you more sustained damage. The burst of having Hunter Jacket is nice, but honestly, you're a very one-trick pony and it doesn't synergize well. So, my opinion, poison on the Q, explosive arrows on the W, and then obviously undead arrows with the attack speed passive. Running the Mage Cowl, Mage Robe, and Royal Shoes with the attack speed passive, very important. Typically, I'm running the damage and CDR food, as well as either poison or gig pots. Pointless running poison sometimes, because you're never really close enough to actually poison the backliners who you're actually doing damage to. And it does have a place in the meta, I think. I think this is one of the bows that definitely do have a place. The amount of damage it puts out is actually really, really nice. And it is actually quite consistent. The problem is it has no peel, no utility for the group. I mean, I play with I play with Mage Cowl, not Druid Cowl, which means I'm going for more damage, which does make a difference sometimes. But also, you lose out on that Druid Cowl, you lose out on that Fiend Cowl, and honestly, that can be a massive, massive sort of game changer in some of these fights. So that's something, in my opinion, that some groups aren't going to be able to get over that's a big thing to drop. So in that case, you kind of have to maybe relook at what you're running. Run with a Druid Cowl, run with a Fiend Cowl, although I wouldn't suggest running with a Fiend Cowl just because you're so far away from most fights. So yeah, in terms of a team comp, I would say at that point you have to play with like a pressure team comp. Halberd works really, really nicely with the reduced healing, because honestly, you just put out so much reduced healing with that Halberd that having a Whisper in there just to keep poking them down and putting pressure, really nice. And then to go with that, you need some sort of utility and pressure and execute damage. So crossbow, heavy crossbow, running the Sunder or Noise Eraser, either or, and running the obviously sweeping bolt gives you some execute damage. You get that utility of a Druid Cowl, you get the utility of a Fiend Cowl if you need it. I think that could be a very viable sort of team setup. You also run with fire, has that obsessive burst potentially now that really just melt, even now with the fire changes, is going to melt through people. Linked up with the fact you've got the firewall as well, which is even nerfed, is a big game changer in terms of utility. It does offer a lot. So that's kind of my testing with Whispering. I don't think you can run it with anything. Yeah, you can maybe swap it around a little bit, but honestly, you kind of have to have a very high pressure comp just to keep them running back. You've got the fire that just spreads as the darts, has a fair bit of damage in itself and stops counter pushes with the firewall. You've got crossbow that also sort of lends itself to that poking play style, which in itself very, very strong. So I would say any of them are viable. And yeah, I would say that it's B tier in my opinion. I'm actually going to do another meta list very soon, and I would say that's B tier. Whispering Bow is B tier right now. Let's move on to the regular bow. So you've got regular bow. If you're playing regular bow, you can play with some of the utility helmets. A Merc helmet, Druid Cowl, Fiend Cowl, all very good options. I think the Poison Arrow is just the best Q at the moment. On the W, there's a couple of different arguments. You can run the Speed Shot, you can run the Explosive Arrows, you can run Ray of Light. Ray of Light offers more damage than all of them, as well as utility on a very low cooldown, but it is quite hard to hit at times. That's something to take in mind. So maybe that's something that if you can't hit it reliably, or you just got too high ping or anything like that, maybe swap over to Explosive Arrows, which does give you a little bit more consistent damage. You then have obviously the E. The E, you just kind of have to build up on the tanks. You get to like 5 or 6 stacks on the tanks, and then you have like the swap with the extra 11 arrows just to put pressure into somebody else, and Bow does do a lot of damage. I would put Bow now with the utility offers, because if you do get good at hitting them ray of lights, it can be very good. If you do use one of the like helpful helmets, Merc helmet. I mean, if you run Merc helmet and stick by your healer like a god, healer can run your Knight helmet for the group. You've got a lot of utility in that group already, and I think that's very, very powerful in fairness. So with what it offers to the group, the amount of damage it also offers, in my opinion, I would still be playing that Mage robe or Cleric robe even with Everlasting Spirit. The Royal Boots are just a given with the attack speed passive. Again, same food as last time, the Eel Stew. And I think you just keep going with that sort of setup. I think regular Bow could be very good. I would put it between B and A tier right now. Wouldn't say it's like S or S+. I wouldn't say it's like the top tier, but I would say it's usable, it's good. And I think that's kind of what you're looking for. You don't want something to be the best, you just want it to be usable. And I think Bow very much is usable now, the regular Bow. Now, Baden. Baden, I honestly think, could still be the best bow out of all of them. Explosive Arrow or Deadly Shot if you're running Druid Robe. Deadly Shot is amazing for stacking up. On the W, you run the Ray of Light. On the E, obviously, you've got the Interrupt and the AoE damage. Now, something very, very important about the Baden. It's currently bugged, and this is why I don't think it's able to be played right now, is because its E is supposed to interrupt as long as the dot is on them, which means even if they leave the circle, they've got 2 or 3 more ticks of that dot interrupting. At the moment, this isn't the case. At the moment, as soon as you leave that circle, you can start casting, and I think that's a huge loss for the Baden. So that's something for me that I honestly think is just brings Baden completely out of question right now. Obviously, it's quite expensive to run as well, being a relic artifact. So yeah, I think Druid Robe or Mage Robe, both very good options. You can run sort of the utility helmets, the Merc Herd or Druid Cowl, Knight Helmet, whatever. I think they all work on Baden. Once it gets fixed, I honestly think it could be quite good. But right now, just not very good at all, unfortunately. So guys, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Just a short little one talking about bows and kind of how my testing's worked out with them. If you disagree at all, or if you've had other testing, please let me know in the comments. It would be interesting to hear that. Thanks for watching, and catch you later.